All right, folks, let us cut through the noise and get real for a minute. If you spend enough time around a campfire smelling that wood smoke and gun oil, or just hanging out at the local gun counter listening to the chatter, you are eventually going to hear the oldest debate in American hunting history. It is the question that has started more arguments than politics or sports combined. If you could only pick one rifle to put meat in the freezer for the rest of your life, what is the single best cartridge to get the job done? We are not talking about hypothetical scenarios here. We are talking about a round that needs to handle the whitetail woods of the Midwest, the high-altitude peaks of the Rockies where the air is thin, and the dense, thick brush of bear country without breaking a sweat. It needs to be surgically accurate. It must pack enough kinetic energy to drop game ethically, ensuring that the animal does not suffer. And perhaps most importantly, you need to be able to find a box of ammo at a dusty gas station in the middle of nowhere when you realize you left your main supply on the kitchen counter. By 2025, ballistic engineering has gone stratospheric. We are looking at cartridges today that are rewriting the physics of what we thought was possible out of a shoulder-fired rifle. However, we also have to respect the legends that paved the way. We are looking for cartridges that dominate the conversation. Rounds that smash through heavy hide, pulverize bone, and shut the central nervous system down immediately. Whether you are staring down a charging grizzly or lining up a shot on a bull elk pushing 1,000 pounds, mediocrity is not an option. So, pull up a chair because we are breaking down the top 6 contenders that have proven themselves in the field. We are starting this list with the reigning, defending heavyweight champion of American firearms culture. The .30-06 Springfield. Introduced way back in 1906, this is more than just a cartridge. It is the absolute backbone of American ballistics. Here is why it takes the crown. It fires that same versatile .308-inch bullet that so many other rifles use. However, because the .30-06 uses a longer case than its younger brother, the .308 Winchester, it has significantly more boiler room for powder. That internal volume matters. This allows the .30-06 to push heavy bullets like the 180 or 200 grain loads about 100 to 200 feet per second faster than the short-action cartridges. For the hunter, that extra velocity translates into a flatter trajectory and, crucially, more terminal energy downrange. When that bullet impacts, it carries a level of authority that lighter rounds just cannot match. The .30-06 is the ultimate chameleon. You can load it with lighter bullets, and it becomes a flat-shooting varmint round, but load it up with heavy, bonded soft points, and it will smash through the heavy shoulder bone of a moose or an elk without hesitation. The recoil sits right in the Goldilocks zone. When you pull the trigger, it lets you know it went off. It gives you a firm shove, but it is nowhere near the punishment of the belted magnums that leave you bruised the next day. Rifles like the legendary Remington 700 and the pre-64 Winchester Model 70 were built around this legend. If you need a do-it-all system, a rifle you can bet your life on, with over a century of proven results, the .30-06 Springfield remains the standard by which all others are measured. At number 2, we are bringing out the heavy artillery. This is the .300 Winchester Magnum. When the conversation shifts from simply hunting deer to pure unadulterated stopping power, this is usually where the debate ends. Debuting in the early 1960s, the .300 Win Mag drives a .308 caliber bullet, but it does so with a level of violence that commands respect. You are looking at projectiles ranging anywhere from 165 grains up to a massive 200 grains or more. The velocities here are intense, sitting between 2,900 and 3,200 feet per second. This is the definitive choice for the largest, toughest animals in North America. We are talking about big bull elk, massive moose, and the coastal brown bear. The secret lies in the belted magnum case, which allows for a massive powder charge. This ensures that even at 500 yards, you are getting deep penetration and massive tissue damage for an ethical kill. The physics are undeniable. It hits like a freight train. However, you need to be ready for the physics of it on your end too. The recoil is stout. This is not a cartridge for the recoil sensitive, and it can induce a flinch if you are not practiced behind the trigger. It is frankly overkill for a standard whitetail hunt at 50 yards. Ammunition is pricey, and it burns barrels faster than standard calibers. But if your goal is to own one rifle that can confidently drop anything walking on 4 legs in the Northern Hemisphere, the .300 Winchester Magnum is a top-tier contender. Let us switch gears to the round that precision hunters have been begging for, the 7mm Precision Rifle Cartridge, or PRC. Hornady released this in 2022, and they absolutely hit a home run. The goal was simple: build the ultimate long-range hunting cartridge that fits in a standard long action. This cartridge picks up where others leave off. It fires extremely aerodynamic bullets, typically 160 to 180 grains, at speeds over 3,100 feet per second. You are looking at 3,500 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle, but what impresses me most is the balance. It kicks less than a 300 Win Mag, yet it delivers significantly more terminal performance than the smaller 6.5 Creedmoor. Whether it is open country elk or cross-canyon mule deer, the 7mm PRC is a laser beam. It is optimized for modern high ballistic coefficient bullets that shrug off the wind. Past 600 yards, it holds tight groups and retains velocity better than almost anything in its class. If you grab the Hornady 175 grain ELDX load, the performance is staggering. This is not just hype. This is where the industry is heading. It allows you to place a shot with surgical precision at distances that would make Granddad's rifle struggle, all while delivering enough energy to anchor the game where it stands. Now let us look at a classic that refuses to quit: the 45-70 Government. This old warhorse started service in 1873, and it is still the undisputed king of brush guns. This is a straight-walled cartridge that specializes in brute force inside 200 yards. It is not built for long-range sniper shots. It has a trajectory like a rainbow. But if you are tracking a wounded boar in a swamp or hiking through grizzly country, this is the security blanket you want in your hands. Modern loads are pushing anything from a 325 grain hollow point to a massive 545 grain hard-cast lead solid. Velocities sit between 1,600 and 2,000 feet per second. That gives you up to 3,000 foot-pounds of energy. But the numbers do not tell the whole story. The wound channel is massive. It hits like a flying anvil. Whether it is a black bear or a moose at spitting distance, the 45-70 puts them down with authority. It is the perfect partner for a lever-action rifle. If you run a Marlin or a Henry, you know exactly what I am talking about. Pro tip: grab some Plus P loads from Buffalo Bore. They crank the pressure up to 37,000 psi and turn your lever gun into a legitimate dangerous game stopper. Just be ready for the recoil. It will definitely let you know you pulled the trigger. Coming in at number 5, we have the undisputed champion of efficiency and versatility, the .308 Winchester. This round has a military pedigree dating back to the 1950s as the 7.62 NATO, and it transitioned perfectly into the civilian hunting world. It fires the same diameter bullet as the Magnums, usually in the 150 to 180 grain sweet spot, but with velocities that are more modest, generally running 2,600 to 2,800 feet per second. So why is it on this list? Balance. The .308 offers inherent accuracy that is almost boringly consistent. Combined with a recoil that is mild enough for you to shoot all day long, it allows for exceptional shot placement. Inside of 300 yards, which is where the vast majority of game is actually taken, it is absolute poison for deer, hogs, black bear, and even elk with the proper bullet construction. Because it is a global military standard, .308 ammo is available everywhere, from big box stores to small-town hardware shops, and it is significantly cheaper than the Magnums. It utilizes a short receiver, meaning you can run it in lighter, more compact bolt guns or modern semi-automatic platforms like the AR-10. It might not have the long-range legs of the 7mm or the brute force of the 300 Win Mag, but for 90% of hunters, the .308 Winchester does everything you ask of it without complaint. Finally, next on the list is a newcomer that is rapidly taking over the Western Mountains, the 6.8 Western. Browning and Winchester dropped this in 2021, and they did their homework. It is designed specifically for heavy bullets in a short action. We are talking about 165 to 175 grain bullets moving at 2,900 feet per second. That yields over 3,200 foot-pounds of energy. The genius here is efficiency. It is based on a shortened .270 Winchester case, but with a faster twist rate to stabilize those long, heavy bullets. It nips at the heels of the big Magnums, but fits in a lighter, handier rifle. On elk, deer, and pronghorn, it is absolute poison out to 500 yards plus. It shoots flat, resists wind drift, and the bonded bullets penetrate deep. Think of it as the quiet professional. It is not the loudest on the line, but it gets the job done every single time. Ammo availability is improving, but you might still have to hunt for it on the shelves compared to the older classics. If you find the 170-grain ballistic silver tip, buy it. It creates a devastating wound cavity. Let us be real for a second. Not every caliber is built for that moment of truth. Some are fast but shatter on impact, others are heavy but drop like a stone past 200 yards, and a lot of them just do not have the sectional density to smash bone and get to the vitals. But the 6 cartridges we covered today, these are the ones that do not back down. These are the rounds you choose when you know you might only get one opportunity. When you are facing a dangerous animal or trying to make a clean kill across a canyon, these are your insurance policy. In 2025, we have access to ballistics that our grandfathers could only dream of. So whether you are planning the hunt of a lifetime or just upgrading your safe, take a hard look at this list. Choose the right tool, practice with it, and I promise you that trophy is not walking away. Stay safe out there.